My beloved child, stop for just a moment. I know how heavy the burden you have been carrying has become. I see the tears you hide when you are alone, and I hear the quiet prayers you whisper when you think no one is listening. Do not look away, because this message was meant to find you today. The struggles that have been keeping you awake at night, the uncertainties that make your chest feel tight, they are coming to an end. You have been trying to control everything, trying to fix what is broken with your own strength. But today, I am asking you to do something different. I am asking you to discover the true power of trusting me completely. When you let go, when you finally surrender your fears into my hands, I can begin to work miracles in your life that you cannot even imagine. Your season of waiting is nearly over. Your season of harvest is about to begin. But first, you must understand what it truly means to trust my timing. Listen to my words now. Let them sink deep into your spirit and feel the peace that I am pouring over you in this very second. Walk with me now, and let me show you the path I have prepared for you. My beloved child, draw near to me now. Settle your spirit in this quiet moment and simply listen to the sound of my voice, a voice that has been calling out to you through the noise and the chaos of your days. You have been running for so long, driven by a restless energy, fueled by the relentless demand to manage, to protect, and to sustain everything and everyone around you. I see you. I see the deep, heavy weariness that has settled into your very bones, a quiet exhaustion that a simple night of sleep no longer cures. This is not just a tiredness of the physical body, though I know your mortal frame feels the passing of the years. This is a profound fatigue of the soul. It is the heavy toll of carrying burdens you were never designed to bear. You have lived so many years under the heavy, suffocating illusion that you must hold your world together with your own two frail hands. You have believed the whisper of the world that tells you your safety, your security, and your future depend entirely on your own vigilance, your own careful planning, and your own endless striving. You have become the architect of your own survival, constantly calculating the risks, anticipating the disasters, and trying to build walls high enough to keep the sorrows of life at bay. But my precious child, those walls are incredibly heavy to build, and they are even heavier to maintain. Think of the way you approach your days. Your mind is like a turbulent river that never stops flowing, constantly rushing over the jagged rocks of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. You wake up in the morning and immediately begin to organize the unknown, trying to force the unpredictable events of your life into neat, manageable boxes. You worry about your health, noticing every ache and imagining the worst. You worry about your finances, watching the changing tides of the world and wondering if what you have gathered will be enough to sustain you in your twilight years. You worry about your loved ones, your grown children, your family, wishing you could place a shield around them to protect them from the harsh realities of this world. You try to fix their problems, you try to carry their sorrows, and you try to engineer their successes. You are trying to be the author of a story that has already been perfectly written by my hand. This deep-seated need for control is born from a place of fear, a place that whispers to you that if you do not hold the reins tightly, the carriage of your life will careen off the edge of the cliff. But I am here today to gently pry those tightened, exhausted fingers from the reins. I am here to tell you that the illusion of control is the very thing that is stealing your peace. You are like a solitary sailor in a tiny wooden boat on a vast, dark ocean. The sky above you is gray and threatening, and the waves are beginning to swell. Instead of trusting the anchor, instead of retreating to the safety of the hull and waiting for the storm to pass, You are standing on the deck, shouting at the wind, trying to command the waves to be still with your own small voice. You are exhausted from bailing out water with a tiny cup, terrified that the next wave will be the one that finally pulls you under. You study the clouds, trying to predict the path of the storm, as if your understanding of the weather could somehow change its course. My child, you cannot control the ocean. You cannot command the wind. And you were never meant to. Your frantic efforts to manage the storms of your life are not keeping you safe. They are only draining you of the precious energy I have given you for today. The fierce winds of the world will blow, the economies will shift, the unexpected challenges of aging will arise, and the people you love will make their own choices. These are the waves. You cannot stop them from rolling in, but you do not have to drown in them, because I am the master of the ocean, and I am in the boat with you. I validate the quiet pain of your exhaustion. I do not condemn you for your worry. I know that your desire to control comes from a place of love and a place of profound vulnerability. You have lived long enough to see the brokenness of this world. You have experienced losses that have left deep scars on your heart. You have seen plans fall apart, you have watched trusted foundations crumble, and you have known the bitter sting of disappointment. It is only natural that your human instinct is to brace yourself for the next blow. I see the nights when you lie awake in the dark, staring at the ceiling, while your mind plays a continuous reel of anxieties. I see the silent tears that slip down your cheeks when you are alone in your room, the tears you quickly wipe away before anyone else can see, because you feel you must remain the strong one for everyone else. I hear the heavy sighs that escape your lips when the weight of the future feels like a physical pressure on your chest. I know the mask of capability and resilience you wear when you walk out your front door, projecting a quiet confidence while your spirit inside is trembling like a fragile leaf in the autumn wind. You have been so strong for so long. You have weathered so many seasons, carried so many responsibilities, and fought so many battles. But today, I am issuing a gentle, irresistible invitation to lay down your heavy armor. You have been walking through the battlefield of life, wearing a thick, heavy suit of iron. This armor of self-reliance, this breastplate of hypervigilance, this shield of constant planning, it was forged in the fires of your past fears. You put it on to protect yourself, to ensure that you would never be caught off guard again. But over the years, this armor has rusted. It has grown incredibly heavy, restricting your movements, suffocating your joy, and keeping you isolated from the warmth of my presence. It is time to unbuckle the straps. It is time to let the heavy plates fall to the ground. You do not need this armor anymore, because you are stepping into a sanctuary where no enemy can reach you. Imagine stepping out of a freezing, howling blizzard into a warm, brightly lit room with a roaring fire. Imagine peeling off the layers of ice-soaked coats and heavy boots and wrapping yourself in a soft, warm blanket. That is what I am offering you in the realm of the Spirit. I am inviting you to stop defending yourself and allow me to be your ultimate defender. I am inviting you to step into the warm, buoyant waters of my grace, where you no longer have to struggle to stay afloat. When you enter this water, you realize that it carries your weight for you. You can stop kicking, you can stop thrashing, and you can simply lean back and let the current of my perfect will carry you to safe shores. The spiritual mechanics of true surrender are often misunderstood by the human mind. The world tells you that surrender is a sign of weakness, a flag of defeat raised by those who have lost the battle. The world says that if you give up control, you become a victim of circumstance, tossed about by fate without a rudder. But in my kingdom, the opposite is true. Surrender is not a posture of defeat. It is the ultimate posture of victory. It is the most powerful, courageous act a believer can make. True surrender is not giving up on your life. It is handing the keys of your life over to the master builder. It is the profound, liberating realization that the Creator who hung the stars in the vast expanse of the universe, the God who carved the deep canyons and told the oceans where to stop, is more than capable of managing the details of your Tuesday. It is acknowledging that your vision is limited to a few feet in front of you, while I see the entire map of eternity from beginning to end. When you truly surrender, a miraculous shift happens in the unseen realm. It is as if you have been trying to push a massive, solid rock door open with your shoulders, pushing until your muscles tear and your breath gives out, only to realize that the door opens inward and you only needed to take a step back and turn the handle. When you let go of your desperate need to control the outcome, you suddenly stop blocking the doorway through which my blessings flow. You see, when your hands are clenched in tight fists gripping your plans, your money, your children, your fears, your hands are completely closed. I cannot place anything new into a closed fist. I cannot hand you the peace you are begging for when your hands are already full of your own anxiety. Surrender is the act of opening your hands. It is turning your palms upward toward the heavens and saying, "Lord, I do not know how to fix this. I do not know how to secure my future. I do not know how to heal my body. I do not know how to protect my family from the choices they make. I am empty. I am out of solutions. I am giving it all to you." In that very fraction of a second, when the illusion of self-reliance shatters and the truth of your dependence on me takes root, the heavy chains of worry snap. The spiritual mechanics of this exchange are beautiful to behold. You trade your heavy, suffocating yoke of anxiety for my yoke, which is light and easy. You trade your frantic, limited human logic for my infinite, unsearchable wisdom. You trade your restless nights for a peace that surpasses all human understanding. A peace that stands like a mighty fortress around your mind and your heart, guarding you against the arrows of doubt. Letting go does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you become passive or irresponsible. It means you continue to walk. You continue to love. You continue to make wise choices with what is in front of you, but you detach your soul from the burden of the outcome. You do the planting, you do the watering, but you finally truly trust me to bring the harvest in my own perfect time. Consider the birds of the air, the ones that visit your window in the quiet mornings. They are not anxious. They do not store up vast barns of provisions for the coming years, trembling with fear over what might happen if the winter is long. They wake up, they sing their song, they gather what I have provided for them that day, and they rest. Am I not the same God who watches over the tiny sparrow? And are you not worth infinitely more to me than 1,000 flocks of birds? I have numbered every single hair on your head. I have collected every tear you have ever cried and stored them in a bottle. I know the exact number of days I have written for you in my book. If I am so intimately involved in the miraculous, microscopic details of your existence, how could you ever believe that I would abandon you now? In this season of your life, I have carried you since you were in your mother's womb, and I will carry you until your hair is white with age. I will sustain you, I will rescue you, and I will be your God. The transition from a life of control to a life of surrender is a daily practice, a constant, gentle turning of your gaze away from the storm and back to my face. When the familiar tightness creeps into your chest, when the news on the television fills you with dread about the state of the world, when a sudden pain in your body triggers a spiral of terrifying thoughts, I want you to stop. Take a deep, slow breath. Recognize that the enemy of your soul is trying to hand you the heavy armor again. He is trying to convince you that you are alone, that you are unprotected, and that you must immediately panic and find a solution. In that moment, practice the mechanics of surrender. Say aloud, "Lord, I feel the fear rising, but I refuse to take the reins. I surrender this specific worry to you. I place this health concern, I place this financial document, I place this wandering child squarely onto your altar. I will not carry it today. As you practice this, day by day, hour by hour, you will begin to notice a profound shift in your internal atmosphere. The dark, heavy clouds of dread that used to hang perpetually over your head will begin to break apart, revealing patches of bright, brilliant blue sky. The chronic tension in your shoulders will begin to melt away. The frantic, rushing river of your mind will slow down, widening into a deep, calm, and tranquil lake reflecting the light of my love. You will find that you can smile more easily, that you can enjoy the simple beauty of a sunset or the taste of a warm meal without the constant hum of anxiety ruining the moment. You will realize that by letting go of the illusion of control, you have not lost anything of value. Instead, you have gained the entire kingdom of my peace. You have stepped out of the tiny, frightening world of your own limitations and stepped into the boundless, glorious reality of my infinite provision. Let the gentle waters of my presence wash over you now. Feel the heavy, jagged stones of worry that you have been carrying in your pockets being gently removed, one by one. You do not need to figure out tomorrow. Tomorrow has not even been created yet. I am already there, preparing the way, smoothing the path, and setting up the provisions you will need. Your only responsibility is to trust me today, in this very moment. Sink into the profound safety of knowing that you are deeply, unconditionally loved by the Creator of the universe. Settle your weary soul in the shadow of my wings. There is no problem you are facing that is too complex for my wisdom. There is no financial deficit too large for my abundance. There is no physical ailment beyond the reach of my healing hand. There is no broken relationship that my love cannot restore. Stop striving. Stop fighting the current. Let your spiritual muscles relax. You have worked so hard to keep the sky from falling. But my beloved child, I am the one who holds the sky in place. I am the one who commands the morning and shows the dawn its place. I am the one who binds the chains of the Pleiades and brings forth the constellations in their seasons. If I can manage the spinning galaxies and the intricate dance of the cosmos, I can certainly manage the beautiful, fragile, and precious details of your life. Trusting me completely is the master key that unlocks the door to a life of unimaginable freedom. It is the bridge between a life of exhaustion and a life of vibrant, overflowing joy. As you feel this weight beginning to lift from your shoulders, if this piece speaks to your soul, hit subscribe and like so you never miss my voice. For we are about to step into the calm I have prepared for your fiercest storms. Even as the profound realization of true surrender begins to settle over your weary spirit, I know that the world outside your door continues to turn. I know that the physical realities of your daily life have not vanished into thin air simply because you have chosen to lay down your heavy armor of self-reliance. You step out of the quiet sanctuary of your prayers, and you are immediately met by the harsh, biting winds of a world that is spinning in chaos. You see the headlines that speak of economic ruin, of nations in turmoil, and of diseases that stalk the vulnerable in the shadows. You feel the very real, very physical ache in your joints when you wake in the morning, a constant, quiet reminder that your earthly tent is growing older and more fragile with each passing season. You look at your financial statements, watching the numbers fluctuate, feeling the tightening grip of a fixed income in a world where the cost of simply existing seems to climb higher every single day. You look at your grown children and your grandchildren, navigating a culture that feels so foreign, so deeply disconnected from the steadfast values you worked so hard to instill in them. The winds are howling, my child. The storm is raging all around your little boat, and the waves are crashing against the hull with a terrifying violence. It is in these exact moments, when the cold spray of the storm hits your face, that the true test of our relationship begins. The human mind cries out in fear and confusion, asking the oldest question known to mankind, "Lord, if you love me, and if you are truly in control, why do you allow the winds to howl so fiercely? Why do you permit the storm to batter my life? Why must I endure this physical decline, this financial uncertainty, this deep heartache over my family?" These are not the questions of a faithless heart. They are the questions of a hurting child seeking the comforting logic of their father. And I am here to give you the spiritual eyes to see what is truly happening in the midst of this tempest. I want you to understand, with a clarity that pierces through the darkest clouds, why the storm is not your enemy, but rather a profoundly powerful instrument in my divine hand. Consider for a moment the great ancient trees that stand on the highest, most exposed ridges of the mountains. These magnificent oaks and towering pines face the most brutal, unforgiving winds on the face of the earth. They are battered by torrential rains, buried under heavy snows, and struck by fierce lightning. Yet, they do not fall. Why? Because the very violence of the wind forces their roots to drive deeper and deeper into the solid rock of the mountain. If a tree is planted in a sheltered valley where the wind never blows, its roots remain shallow, lazy, and weak. When a sudden, unexpected storm finally comes to the valley, that sheltered tree is easily uprooted and destroyed. But the tree on the ridge, the one that has been tested by 1,000 tempests, has anchored itself so deeply into the mountain that no earthly force can move it. My beloved child, you are that ancient, magnificent oak. The winds of financial uncertainty, the storms of physical affliction, and the gales of family worry are not sent to destroy you. They are permitted to blow so that the roots of your faith will plunge deeper into the unshakable bedrock of my eternal sovereignty. I am not punishing you. I am preparing you. I am strengthening your spiritual foundation so that you can stand as an immovable pillar of hope for the generations that follow you. Your children and your grandchildren are watching you. They need to see how a deeply rooted believer faces the storm. They need to see that your faith is not a fragile, fair-weather philosophy, but a rugged, enduring trust that holds fast even when the sky goes completely dark. I know the specific anxieties that weigh heaviest on your heart right now. Let us speak of the fear that tightens your chest when you think about your finances and the security of your future. The world has taught you that peace is found in a large bank account, in a paid-off mortgage, and in a flawless retirement plan. The world whispers that if your resources are dwindling, your dignity and your safety will dwindle with them. But I am asking you to elevate your perspective and view your provision through the lens of eternity. I am not an earthly banker who operates on the principles of scarcity and economic downturns. I am the creator of the universe, the God who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, the one who spoke the gold and silver into the very veins of the earth. When I fed the Israelites in the barren, lifeless desert, I did not send them a treasury of coins. I rained down manna from heaven, fresh every single morning, exactly enough for their daily needs. When the prophet Elijah was hiding in the wilderness, starving and alone, I did not point him to a flourishing farm. I commanded the ravens to bring him bread and meat. My economy operates on the currency of miracles, and my storehouses are infinitely full. If I allow your earthly resources to be stretched, if I allow you to face a season where the math does not seem to add up, it is never because I have forgotten you. It is a profound, holy invitation to shift your dependence away from the fragile, temporary systems of this world and place it squarely upon my supernatural provision. I am testing where your true treasure lies. Are you trusting in your savings? Or are you trusting in your Savior? When the numbers fall short, that is precisely when my grace steps in to multiply the loaves and the fishes. Do not let the spirit of fear tell you that you will end up destitute and abandoned in your old age. I have promised that I will never leave you nor forsake you. I have been young, and now I am old, yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging for bread. Shift your gaze away from the fluctuating numbers on a piece of paper and fix your eyes on the absolute, proven faithfulness of your Heavenly Father. I will provide what you need, when you need it, in ways that will leave you absolutely breathless with gratitude. And then there is the intimate, quiet sorrow of your physical body. You look in the mirror and you see the unmistakable marks of time. You feel the fading of the boundless strength you once possessed. The doctor's reports bring words that frighten you, and the aches and pains serve as a daily reminder of your mortality. The enemy wants to use this physical decline to plunge you into a deep depression, whispering that your best days are far behind you, that you are becoming a burden, and that your usefulness in this world is coming to an end. My precious, deeply loved child, nothing could be further from the truth. The world worships the temporary illusion of youth and physical perfection, but in my kingdom, the gray head is a crown of glorious splendor, attained in the way of righteousness. Your physical body is merely a temporary tent, a fragile vessel designed to house the eternal radiant glory of your spirit. It is entirely natural that the canvas of this tent will wear thin, tear, and eventually fade over the decades. But even as your outer self is wasting away, your inner self is being renewed and strengthened day by day. I do not promise to instantly remove every ache or completely reverse the natural process of aging, because the ultimate healing I have prepared for you is an eternal, resurrected body that will never know pain, sickness, or decay. The physical struggles you face now are momentary afflictions, preparing for you an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison. When you face illness, when you endure the pain of failing health, I am asking you to shift your gaze from the temporary affliction to the eternal physician. Trust me to sustain you through the pain. Trust me to give the doctors wisdom, or to bypass their wisdom entirely with a touch of my miraculous hand, according to my perfect will for your story. Do not let the fear of illness rob you of the joy of today. Your spirit is more powerful, more beautiful, and more radiant to me right now than it was in the prime of your youth. You are not fading away. You are transitioning from the dim, flickering light of this earthly realm into the blinding, magnificent brilliance of my eternal glory. This brings us to the most vital action you must take in the midst of any storm: the conscious, deliberate shifting of your gaze. Remember the story of my servant Peter stepping out of the small boat onto the turbulent waters of the Sea of Galilee. As long as he kept his eyes locked on my face, he achieved the impossible. He walked upon the very element that was threatening to drown him. The water became a solid pavement beneath his feet because his faith in my power was greater than his fear of the environment. But the moment he shifted his gaze away from me and looked at the wind, the moment he focused on the terrifying height of the waves and the darkness of the storm, he began to sink. The storm had not changed. The waves had not grown any larger. The only thing that changed was his focus. You are standing on the water right now, my child. The wind of inflation and financial insecurity is howling. The waves of health scares and family crises are rising high all around you. The natural human instinct is to stare at the waves. You want to analyze the storm, you want to measure the height of the problems, and you want to calculate the probability of disaster. But I am commanding you, with the fierce, protective love of a father, to take your eyes off the waves. The more you stare at your problems, the larger and more terrifying they become, until they eclipse your view of my sovereignty entirely. You must aggressively, Intentionally force your gaze back to my face. When the medical report is frightening, look at me. When the bank account is low, look at me. When the news fills you with despair about the future of the world, turn off the screen, open my word, and look at me. I am the anchor of your soul, firm and secure. The external chaos cannot dictate your internal reality unless you give it the permission to do so. When you successfully shift your gaze, when you lock your eyes on my eternal promises rather than your temporary problems, I will outfit you with something extraordinary. I will clothe you in the armor of perfect peace. This is not the heavy, rust-covered armor of self-reliance that we spoke of earlier. This is a divine, weightless, impenetrable garment woven from the very fabric of heaven. It is the peace that surpasses all human understanding. Let me explain what this peace truly is. The world defines peace as the complete absence of conflict. The world believes that you can only have peace when there is enough money in the bank, when the body is perfectly healthy, when the family is entirely harmonious, and when the circumstances are ideal. But that is a fragile, conditional peace that shatters the moment a single thing goes wrong. My peace is entirely different. My peace is not the absence of the storm, it is the absolute, unshakable assurance of my presence right in the dead center of the storm. It is a supernatural fortress that is erected within your mind and your heart. Picture a magnificent ancient stone cathedral built upon a high cliff overlooking a raging sea. Outside, the hurricane is tearing trees from the ground, the rain is lashing against the stone, and the thunder is shaking the very earth. But inside that cathedral, behind walls that are 20 feet thick, there is a profound, holy silence. The candles on the altar are burning with a steady, unwavering flame. The air is still, filled only with the faint scent of incense and the quiet echo of a sacred hymn. That cathedral is the spiritual reality of a mind that is stayed on me. The chaos of your health, your finances, and the world can rage all it wants outside, but it cannot breach the thick stone walls of my perfect peace. It cannot extinguish the flame of hope that burns upon the altar of your heart. When you wear this armor, you can walk through the valley of the shadow of death and fear no evil, because the chaotic noise of the world is muffled by the overwhelming volume of my love for you. Yet, even within the safety of this internal sanctuary, there will be moments when the enemy tries to breach your defenses. He cannot tear down the walls of my peace by force, so he uses a much more subtle and insidious weapon. He uses whispers. In the quiet, vulnerable hours of the night, when the house is still and you are alone with your thoughts, he creeps up to the window of your mind and begins to whisper lies. He whispers that you have made too many mistakes for me to bless you. He whispers that your current struggles are a punishment for the sins of your past. He whispers that I have forgotten you in your old age, that I am busy with younger, more useful servants, and that you are left to fend for yourself in these final chapters of your life. He tries to plant tiny, poisonous seeds of doubt, hoping they will take root in the soil of your anxiety and grow into a suffocating weed of despair. You must learn to silence these whispers of doubt with extreme prejudice. Do not entertain them. Do not debate with the enemy. Do not sit in the dark and allow those lies to echo in your mind. The moment you hear the whisper of doubt, you must immediately counter it with the roaring thunder of my truth. And the most powerful weapon you have against the lie that I have abandoned you is the undeniable evidence of your own history. I want you to take a walk with me down the long, winding halls of your memory. Look back over the decades of your life. Remember the terrifying storms you faced in your 20s and 30s. The moments when you thought your heart would break completely. The times when you had no idea how you would survive the month. You survived. I provided. Remember the crises of your middle years, the sudden losses, the career setbacks, the seasons of intense marital or family strife that felt completely insurmountable? You made it through. I sustained you. Remember the illnesses that scared you, the betrayals that stung you, and the countless nights you cried out to me for a miracle? Look at where you are standing right now. You are still here. You are still breathing. You are still holding on to your faith. I did not drop you then, and I will absolutely not drop you now. My track record in your life is flawless. I have a 100% success rate of bringing you through the darkest valleys and out onto the mountaintops of victory. Do you really believe that after decades of carefully guiding your steps, after faithfully providing for you through recessions and personal tragedies, after walking beside you through every joy and every sorrow, I would suddenly decide to abandon you now, simply because your hair has turned gray and the world has gotten louder? It is a ridiculous lie from the pit of darkness, and you must treat it as such. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. I was the God of your youth, and I am the God of your golden years. Even to your old age and gray hairs, I am He. I am He who will sustain you. I have made you, and I will carry you. I will sustain you, and I will rescue you. When the whispers of doubt try to tell you that your finances will run dry, shout back that Jehovah Jireh is your provider, and He has never missed a payment. When the whispers tell you that your health is failing and you are useless, shout back that Jehovah Rapha is your healer and that your spirit is growing stronger and more radiant every single day. When the whispers tell you that your children are lost to the world, shout back that the seed of faith you planted in them is protected by the Holy Spirit and that my hand is not too short to reach them wherever they roam. Take authority over your own mind. Stand firm in the cathedral of your peace and refuse to let the shadow of doubt extinguish the candles on your altar. You have walked with me for a long time, my faithful friend. You have learned the deep, quiet rhythms of grace. You know the sound of my voice. You know the warmth of my presence. Do not let the current storms cause you to forget everything you have learned in the light. The wind is howling, yes, but it is only pushing your roots deeper. The waves are crashing, yes, but they are only reminding you to keep your eyes locked on my face. The fiery trials are burning, yes, but they are only refining the pure, priceless gold of your enduring faith. You are safe. You are held. You are protected by a sovereignty that existed before the foundations of the earth were laid, and will exist long after the current troubles of this world have faded into dust. Breathe in the deep, unshakable calm of my spirit right now. Let it fill your lungs, let it flow through your veins, and let it settle the frantic beating of your anxious heart. The storm outside may continue for a little while longer, but the storm inside your soul ends right here, right now, in this holy moment of complete, unwavering trust. You have survived every bad day you have ever had because I was holding your right hand. I am still holding it. I will never, ever let it go. If you are claiming this unshakable calm over your home right now, like and subscribe to keep this channel of faith open, because the reason for your long season of waiting is finally about to be revealed. As the fierce winds of the storm begin to settle and the chaotic noise of the crashing waves fades into a profound and holy stillness, we enter a different kind of landscape on our journey together. We step out of the tempest and walk into the quiet, expansive, and sometimes overwhelming valley of the wait. I know this valley well, my child, and I know exactly how your heart feels when you are walking through it. If surviving the loud, violent storms of life requires a sudden, desperate surge of courageous faith, enduring the long, silent seasons of waiting requires a quiet, exhausting, and relentless stamina. There is a specific kind of weariness that settles into your soul when you have been praying for something for a very long time, and the heavens seem entirely silent in response. You have brought your deepest desires, your most urgent petitions, and your most desperate pleas to my altar. You have knelt in the quiet hours of the morning, you have wept in the darkness of the night, and you have spoken your requests with absolute sincerity. You have asked for the healing of your body, for the restoration of a fractured relationship with a child you love so deeply, for a breakthrough in your stagnant finances, or simply for a clear direction in a season of profound confusion. And then, you have waited. You watch the sun rise and set. You watch the seasons turn, the leaves fall, the snow melt, and the spring bloom again, yet your circumstance remains completely unchanged. You look around, and it seems as though everyone else is receiving their miracles. You see others celebrating the very breakthroughs you have been begging for. And a quiet, agonizing question begins to echo in the empty chambers of your waiting heart. You ask me, Lord, have you forgotten me? Did my prayers somehow get lost in the vastness of heaven? Is there something wrong with my faith? Or have you simply decided that the answer for my life is a permanent, resounding no? I hear these questions, my beloved. I feel the heavy, dull ache of disappointment that threatens to harden into bitterness if left unattended. But today, I am stepping into the silence of your waiting room to illuminate the profound difference between a divine delay and a divine denial. I want to change the way you view this season entirely. When you ask me for something that is in alignment with my perfect will for your life, a delay in the delivery of that blessing is never an act of rejection. It is never a sign of my indifference or a punishment for your past mistakes. The human mind is bound by the relentless ticking of the earthly clock. You measure your life in days, months, and years. You feel the urgency of time slipping through your fingers, especially as the silver begins to outnumber the dark in your hair. You feel that if the answer does not come right now, it will be too late. But I dwell in the magnificent, boundless realm of eternity. I am not pressured by the calendar. I am the architect of time itself, and my timing is a flawless, intricate masterpiece. When I say not yet, it is because I see a complex web of circumstances, people, and spiritual realities that you cannot possibly perceive from your earthly vantage point. Think of a grand, majestic tapestry being woven by a master artist. If you are standing directly underneath the loom, looking up at the bottom of the tapestry, all you see is a chaotic, tangled mess of knots, frayed ends, and dark threads that seem to make no sense together. The waiting period is the time you spend looking at the bottom of the tapestry, frustrated by the lack of beauty and the apparent disorder. But I am looking down from above. I see the magnificent, breathtaking picture that is being meticulously formed with every single thread. If I were to answer your prayer according to your hurried timeline, I would have to cut the threads prematurely, leaving the masterpiece incomplete, weak, and ultimately unsatisfying. The delay you are experiencing right now is not a void of empty time, it is a space of intense, deliberate, and purposeful creation. I am weaving the circumstances of your life, the hearts of the people involved, and the depth of your own character into a perfect alignment. The blessing that is coming to you is so significant, so deeply impactful, that it requires this exact amount of time to be prepared. You must understand that I love you far too much to give you what you want before you are truly ready to receive it, carry it, and sustain it. This brings us to the most crucial, yet often most misunderstood, purpose of the waiting season: divine protection. There are times when the very thing you are desperately crying out for would actually become a crushing weight if I handed it to you right now. You are asking for the full, blazing glory of the noon sun, but your spiritual eyes have only just adjusted to the dawn. If I gave you the fullness of the blessing prematurely, it would blind you. I used the delay to protect you from the unseen dangers of premature elevation. Imagine a wealthy king whose young, inexperienced child begs for the keys to the kingdom's treasury and the command of the royal army. The child believes they are ready. They feel the passion. They have read the books, and they possess the desire to rule. But the wise king knows that giving absolute power and unlimited resources to an unformed character is a recipe for absolute destruction. The king loves the child too much to say yes. Instead, the king sends the child to the training grounds. He makes the child learn discipline, patience, strategy, and humility. The child feels frustrated, feeling that their destiny is being unfairly withheld. But the king is not withholding the destiny. He is ensuring that when the crown is finally placed upon the child's head, it will not snap their neck. You, my child, are royalty in my kingdom. The blessings I have reserved for you are vast and powerful. But the container of your character must be expanded and fortified to hold the incredible weight of the oil I am preparing to pour out upon you. The waiting season is the divine forge where your ultimate strength is being tempered. Picture the master blacksmith in his shop working with a piece of raw, unshaped iron. The iron must be plunged into the roaring, intense heat of the fire. When it is glowing red-hot and softened, the blacksmith brings it to the anvil and begins to strike it with a heavy hammer. He strikes it over and over, shaping it, bending it, and forcing the impurities out of the metal. Then, he plunges the scorching metal into a barrel of cold water to quench it, locking the new strength into place. If the iron had a voice, it would surely cry out in agony during this process. It would beg to be left alone in its raw, comfortable state. It would ask why it is being subjected to the fire, the beating, and the sudden, shocking cold. But if the blacksmith stops too soon, the iron remains a useless lump. If he rushes the tempering process and forms a sword from brittle, untested metal, that sword will shatter into 1,000 pieces the very first time it strikes a shield in battle. You have been in the forge, my beloved. The prolonged silence, the unanswered questions, the frustrating delays. These are the heat of the fire and the strike of the hammer. I am not trying to break you, I am tempering you. I am burning away the impurities of impatience, pride, self-reliance, and fear. I am expanding your capacity to trust me when you cannot trace me. I am making your faith so rugged, so durable, and so deeply resilient that when you finally step into the promised season, absolutely nothing the enemy throws at you will be able to shatter your peace. You will hold your blessing with open hands and a humble heart, knowing precisely what it costs to obtain it. The protection of the wait is one of the most profound expressions of my fierce, fatherly love for you. I am guarding your future from the weaknesses of your present. While you are being tempered in the forge, there is another, equally miraculous process happening simultaneously in the hidden depths of your life. To understand this, we must look at the wisdom I have hidden in the soil of the earth. When the bitter, freezing winds of winter sweep across the land, the entire world appears to die. The trees strip themselves of their beautiful leaves, the grass turns brown and brittle, and the ground freezes solid. If you were to look only at the surface, you would assume that all hope is lost, that life has been permanently defeated by the cold. This is how the waiting season often feels. It feels like a long, barren spiritual winter. You look at your circumstances, and you see no growth, no movement, no signs of life. You feel as though you have been buried in the dark, cold earth, forgotten and left to decay. But I want you to shift your perspective entirely. You have not been buried, my child. You have been planted. There is a magnificent, monumental difference between a tomb and a womb, between a coffin and a garden bed. They both involve darkness, and they both involve being surrounded by dirt, but one is a place of finality, and the other is a place of explosive, imminent incubation. In the dead of winter, beneath the frozen, unyielding surface of the soil, the most vital, vigorous work of the entire year is quietly taking place. The seed that has been planted is not dormant, it is incredibly busy. In the absolute pitch-black darkness, away from the applause of the sun and the admiring eyes of the world, the seed is breaking open. It is sending tiny, fragile roots down into the deep, searching for hidden reservoirs of water and anchoring itself tightly to the rocks below. If a seed decides to sprout too early, if it pushes its tender green shoot above the soil in the middle of January because it is tired of the dark, the very first frost will instantly destroy it. The darkness of the soil is not a prison, it is a protective incubator. It forces the plant to focus all of its energy downward, building a massive, hidden support system rather than rushing upward to produce a premature, fragile display. Think of the giant towering trees that have stood for hundreds of years. Their massive branches can withstand hurricane force winds not because of what is happening above the ground, but because their root systems are vast, intricate, and deeply entangled with the bedrock below. Right now, in your season of silence, you are growing roots. You may not see the beautiful flowers of your answered prayers blooming on the surface of your life just yet. But beneath the soil, in the quiet, unseen places of your heart, you are expanding. Your roots of empathy are growing deeper, allowing you to understand and comfort others who are walking through their own dark valleys. Your roots of endurance are stretching further, giving you the stamina to face the inevitable challenges of aging with profound grace. Your roots of intimacy with me are wrapping tightly around the solid rock of my word, ensuring that your faith is no longer dependent on the emotional highs of the mountaintop, but is firmly established in the quiet, steady truth of my presence. The unseen work happening in the soil of your soul right now is the most valuable, transformative work of your entire life. Do not despise the darkness of the dirt. Do not rush the breaking of the seed. The root system you are building today is the exact foundation that will flawlessly support the massive, abundant harvest I have already scheduled for your tomorrow. Because this harvest is coming, and because the unseen work is nearly complete, your posture in this waiting season must radically change. The most common mistake my children make is treating the waiting room like a prison cell of passive resignation. They slump their shoulders, they sigh heavily, they drag their feet, and they endure the delay with a spirit of defeated endurance. They put their joy on hold, they put their praise on pause, and they tell themselves that they will finally be happy, they will finally worship me fully, only after the breakthrough arrives. But this passive waiting robs you of the profound beauty and the intense, electric anticipation that the season is meant to hold. I am calling you today to embrace the concept of active, expectant preparation. There is a monumental difference between waiting in line at the Department of Motor Vehicles, staring blankly at the wall in bored frustration, and waiting at the airport gate for the arrival of a loved one you have not seen in years. When you are waiting for someone you love, you are not passive. You are standing on your tiptoes. Your eyes are scanning the crowd. Your heart is beating faster. You have already prepared the guest room, you have cooked their favorite meal, and you have dressed in your best clothes. You are vibrating with the certainty of their imminent arrival. That is the exact posture I want you to adopt in this spiritual waiting season. You must stop waiting like a prisoner serving a sentence and start waiting like a bride listening for the footsteps of the groom, or a watchman eagerly scanning the horizon for the first brilliant crack of dawn. Active preparation means that you begin to act, speak, and live in absolute alignment with the miracle that is on its way. If you are waiting for a financial breakthrough, active preparation means managing the pennies you have right now with flawless integrity and radical generosity, demonstrating that you are ready to be entrusted with the wealth that is coming. If you are waiting for the restoration of a prodigal child, active preparation means setting an extra plate at the table in your heart, forgiving them in advance, and speaking words of blessing over their empty chair, entirely confident that they will return. If you are waiting for healing in your body, active preparation means praising me for my sustaining grace in the pain today, while boldly declaring my restorative power over your tomorrow. You must begin to clean the spiritual house of your heart to make room for the guest of my blessing. If your heart is currently cluttered with the dusty boxes of old resentments, the heavy furniture of bitter regrets, and the dark, suffocating curtains of fear, where will the new blessing sit when it arrives? You must throw open the windows of your soul. You must sweep the floors of your mind with the broom of gratitude. You must actively clear out the negative space so that the positive manifestation of my promise has a magnificent place to dwell. When you transition from passive suffering to active, joyful preparation, you entirely strip the enemy of his power to use the delay as a weapon of discouragement against you. You turn the waiting room into a sanctuary of praise. I want to assure you, with the absolute, unbreakable authority of heaven, that your waiting season is drawing to its beautiful, appointed close. The intricate threads of the tapestry are coming together to reveal the masterpiece. The sword of your character has been perfectly tempered in the forge and is ready for the battle. The long, silent winter is finally breaking, and the ice is beginning to thaw. The deep, massive roots you have established in the dark are about to push the most glorious, unprecedented growth up through the soil of your life. You are standing on the absolute threshold of your payoff. The hinges of the heavy door you have been knocking on for so long are already beginning to turn. The momentum of heaven is rushing toward you, gathering speed with every passing second. You have waited well, my faithful servant. You have endured the silence, you have trusted the process, and you have allowed me to do the deep, uncomfortable, and necessary work within your soul. Now, you are about to see the magnificent purpose behind every single tear you cried in the dark. The things that made no sense to you yesterday are about to become the most brilliant, undeniable testimonies of my grace tomorrow. The delay was never a denial. The protection was never a punishment. The winter was never a grave. It was all a divine setup for a spectacular, overwhelming comeback. As we prepare to step out of this waiting room and walk directly into the sacred space where your deepest, oldest wounds will finally be bound up and completely restored, I want you to take a deep breath and settle your spirit in this profound truth. You are exactly where you are supposed to be, at the exact right time, securely held in the center of my perfect will. Subscribe and like to anchor your faith with us in this quiet moment, because the roots you are growing today are about to heal wounds you thought you would carry forever. Come with me into this quiet place. Leave the noise of the world outside the door. You have endured the fierce storms, you have waited patiently through the long winter of the soul, and now you stand at the very threshold of the glorious harvest I have promised you. But before we walk out into the bright sunlight of your new season, there is a profound, delicate, and holy work that we must complete together. I want you to look at me right now, not just as the sovereign king of the universe, and not just as the creator who formed the mountains, but as the gentle, careful, and deeply compassionate physician of your soul. I want you to sit down in my presence and finally take off the heavy coat you have been wearing to hide your deepest pains. For so many years, you have been walking through this life with hidden fractures. You have smiled at your friends, you have served in your community, you have cared for your family, and you have sung praises in the sanctuary. all while carrying a quiet, agonizing ache deep within your chest. You have become an absolute master at concealing your emotional wounds. You tell everyone that you are fine, that you have moved on, and that the past is the past. But I am the God who looks past the brave face you show the world and sees the raw, tender reality of your heart. I see the memories that still cause you to wince when you are alone in the dark. I see the specific words that were spoken over you decades ago, words of rejection, words of belittlement, words of betrayal, that still echo in the quiet corridors of your mind. I see the people who broke your trust, the ones who promised to stay but walked away, the ones who were supposed to protect you but instead caused you the deepest harm. I know the exact shape and depth of every single wound you carry. I was there when your heart shattered. I did not turn my face away. I caught every single tear you cried, and I wept with you. The pain you experienced was real, it was unjust, and it was never my perfect will for your life. I am not here to tell you that what they did to you did not matter. I am not here to diminish your sorrow or to tell you to simply get over it. Your pain is entirely valid. But my beloved child, I am here to tell you that you cannot carry this heavy bleeding history into the beautiful future I have prepared for you. The promised land of your harvest is a place of absolute freedom, and you cannot enter it while dragging the heavy chains of your past. Imagine, for a moment, a magnificent, beautiful ship sitting in a harbor. This ship is crafted from the finest wood, designed to sail across the vast, breathtaking oceans of the world. It has massive, perfectly woven sails. The wind of my spirit is blowing strongly, filling the sails, and the captain is standing at the wheel, ready to steer the vessel toward an island of unimaginable treasure. The ship groans, the wood creaks, the sails pull with immense force, but the ship does not move. It remains stuck in the harbor, straining against the current. Why? Because deep beneath the surface of the dark water, buried thick in the mud and the mire of the ocean floor, there is a massive, heavy iron anchor that has never been pulled up. You are that magnificent ship. I have filled your life with my spirit. You have read my word, you have prayed for direction, and you have set your sights on the promises I have given you. But you feel stuck. You feel as though you are constantly striving, constantly trying to move forward into your destiny. Yet you keep finding yourself in the exact same place, drained of energy and frustrated by the lack of progress. The reason you are not moving forward is not a lack of faith, and it is not a lack of effort. It is because you are being held in place by the hidden anchors of resentment. Deep beneath the surface of your daily life, in the hidden, muddy places of your memories, you are holding on to bitter grudges. You are holding on to the anger toward the spouse who abandoned you, the business partner who cheated you, the friend who gossiped about you, or the parent who never gave you the love you so desperately needed. You have dropped an anchor into the pain of your past, and that invisible chain is holding your entire life hostage. You believe that holding on to this anger is a way of protecting yourself. You believe that by keeping the memory of their offense alive, you are somehow holding them accountable, punishing them for what they did. But my precious child, the anchor does not hurt the ocean floor. The anchor only traps the ship. Your resentment is not punishing the people who hurt you, it is only punishing you. It is draining your joy, it is poisoning your peace, and it is blocking the flow of my miraculous blessings into your life. I want to wash away the sting of this betrayal. I want to perform a deep spiritual surgery on your heart today, but you must give me your consent. The medicine I must use to clean this wound is the powerful, cleansing water of divine forgiveness. I know that the very word forgiveness causes a knot to form in your stomach. The world has entirely distorted what forgiveness truly means. You have been taught that forgiving someone means you are saying what they did was acceptable. You have believed that if you forgive them, you are letting them off the hook, erasing their debt, and declaring that they are no longer guilty. Because your sense of justice is so strong, your spirit recoils at the idea of letting an unrepentant abuser walk away completely free. But I want you to listen to me very carefully. Forgiveness is not about rewriting history, and it is certainly not about pardoning the guilty. Justice is absolutely real, but justice does not belong to you. Vengeance is mine. I will repay. I am the righteous judge of the universe. I keep perfect records. No one has ever gotten away with a single act of cruelty in the history of mankind. Every tear they caused you to shed was recorded in my courts. When I ask you to forgive, I am not asking you to step down from the witness stand. I am asking you to step down from the judge's seat. I am asking you to hand the heavy gavel of judgment over to me. You have been carrying the exhausting, crushing responsibility of trying to execute justice in your own mind, holding daily trials in your thoughts, replaying the offense over and over, and demanding a payment that the offender can never actually give you. Even if they were to grovel at your feet and apologize 1,000 times, it would not rewind the clock. It would not erase the years of pain. Only I can restore what was stolen from you. Forgiveness is simply the act of transferring the debt. It is you standing before my throne, handing me the file of your painful history, and saying, "Lord, they owe me a massive debt, but I cannot collect it, and it is destroying me to try. I am transferring this account to you. You handle them according to your perfect justice and your perfect mercy. I am letting it go." When you make this profound, courageous choice, you take a massive, sharp pair of spiritual shears, and you finally cut the heavy chain of that hidden anchor. You untie yourself from the person who hurt you. As long as you refuse to forgive, you remain permanently tethered to your abuser. You carry them with you into your new relationships, into your quiet moments, and into your dreams. They continue to steal from you long after the actual event has ended. But the moment you forgive, you break their power over your life permanently. You evict them from the sacred space of your mind. You take back the keys to your own peace. This is why I am not giving you a moral lecture today. I am handing you the master key to your own liberation. Forgiveness is the absolute prerequisite for your impending harvest. Your hands have been clenched tightly around the heavy, sharp stones of bitterness, ready to throw them at your enemies. But as long as your hands are clenched in anger, they are not open to receive the overwhelming abundance I am trying to pour into them. Drop the stones, open your hands. Let the living water of my spirit wash the dirt, the blood, and the poison of betrayal entirely out of your wounds. As we walk through this healing process, there is another layer of forgiveness that is often the most difficult of all, yet it is absolutely critical for your ultimate freedom. You must learn to forgive yourself. I see the heavy, suffocating blanket of regret that you carry over your own shoulders. When you look back over the long landscape of your life, the enemy loves to point out every single mistake you have ever made. He plays a continuous, agonizing reel of your failures in the theater of your mind. You look back at your younger years and you torment yourself with the things you should have done differently. You agonize over the mistakes you made in raising your children, wishing you had been more patient, more present, or more understanding. You carry the crushing guilt of financial decisions that went wrong, words spoken in anger that you can never take back, and opportunities you let slip through your fingers because you were too afraid to step out in faith. You have built a prison cell of self-condemnation, and you have locked yourself inside, believing that you do not deserve the beautiful harvest I am preparing because of your past blunders. My dear, precious child, look at my hands. Look at the scars that I bear. Those scars were the ultimate, final, and complete payment for every mistake you have ever made, every sin you have ever committed, and every failure you will ever experience. When you came to me and asked for mercy, I did not just cover your past, I obliterated it. I took your sins, your regrets, and your shameful moments, and I cast them as far as the east is from the west. I dropped them into the deepest part of the ocean of my forgetfulness. If the Creator of the universe, the perfectly holy and righteous God, has completely forgiven you, cleansed you, and chosen to remember your sins no more, who are you to overrule my verdict and continue to condemn yourself? By refusing to forgive yourself, you are essentially telling me that my sacrifice was not enough, that your mistakes are somehow more powerful than my infinite grace. It is time to let the heavy chain of what-ifs and if-onlys fall to the ground. You did the best you could with the tools, the wisdom, and the understanding you had at the time. You were a broken person navigating a broken world. You were learning, you were growing, and yes, you were stumbling. But I am the God of the miraculous turnaround. I am the God who restores the years that the swarming locusts have eaten. I can take the shattered, chaotic pieces of your past mistakes and weave them into a magnificent tapestry of redemption. Stop looking backward at the doors that have closed and the bridges that have burned. I am not the God of your yesterday. I am the God of your today and your forever. Breathe in the absolute, unconditional, and overwhelming reality of my grace. You are clean. You are washed. You are completely and eternally forgiven. Forgive yourself right now, in this very moment, and step out of that dark cell of regret. As the deep, poisoned wounds of your past are washed clean by the water of forgiveness, a beautiful transformation begins to take place. The raw, bleeding edges of your trauma begin to close. The agonizing pain that used to take your breath away begins to fade into a dull echo and eventually into complete silence. What remains in the place of the open wound is a scar. The world will tell you that scars are ugly. The world will tell you to hide them, to cover them up, and to be ashamed of them, because they are proof that you were broken, that you were vulnerable, and that you were damaged. But in the kingdom of heaven, we view things through a radically different lens. In my kingdom, scars are not badges of shame. They are the ultimate, undeniable proof of a miraculous survival. They are the beautiful, permanent marks of my healing power. Think of a master craftsman who finds a rare, exquisite clay vessel that has been shattered into a dozen pieces. Instead of throwing the broken pieces into the trash, the master craftsman carefully gathers them up. He does not use ordinary glue to put them back together. Instead, he uses pure, molten gold to fill the cracks and bind the pieces back into a single vessel. When he is finished, the vessel is not just restored, it is completely transformed. It is far more beautiful, far more unique, and far more valuable than it was before it was broken, precisely because of the golden lines that now trace the history of its fracture. I am that master craftsman, and you are my precious vessel. I have taken the shattered pieces of your broken heart, your failed relationships, and your deepest disappointments, and I have bound them back together with the pure, liquid gold of my Holy Spirit. Your scars are now the most valuable thing you possess. They are no longer a source of pain, they are a source of profound, life-giving power. I want you to transform your scars into testimonies. There is a younger generation rising up behind you, a generation that is desperately lost, deeply confused, and drowning in the same kind of pain that you once endured. They are walking through the dark woods of betrayal, addiction, divorce, and financial ruin, and they believe they are completely alone. They do not need to hear from someone who has lived a perfect, sheltered, and untested life. They need to hear from a veteran of the spiritual war. They need to hear from someone who has walked through the valley of the shadow of death and come out the other side with their faith intact. They need to see your scars. When you share your story, when you tell them how you were completely broken but how my grace sustained you, when you show them that it is possible to survive the absolute worst the world can throw at you and still have a heart full of joy, you become a blazing lantern in their darkness. Your testimony becomes the exact medicine that heals their open wounds. The pain you endured was not meaningless. The tears you cried were not wasted. The years you spent in the dark were not a punishment. I allowed you to go through the fire so that you could become a guide for those who are currently burning. I allowed you to endure the betrayal so that you could teach others the liberating power of forgiveness. I allowed you to face the financial ruin so that you could testify to my miraculous, unwavering provision. Your history does not dictate your destiny. Your history authorizes your destiny. Your past is the very platform upon which I am building your ultimate purpose. Feel the physical and spiritual reality of this immense freedom washing over you right now, as you choose to release the offenders, as you choose to release yourself, and as you allow me to turn your wounds into golden scars. The heavy, suffocating atmosphere that has surrounded you for years is completely evaporating. The air in your lungs feels lighter. The chronic tension in your shoulders is melting away like snow under the warm spring sun. You are no longer a victim of your past. You are a victorious, empowered, and fully healed child of the Most High God. The anchor has been cut. The ship is suddenly free, lifting slightly in the buoyant water, feeling the powerful, irresistible pull of the wind in the sails. You are ready to move. The door to your past is finally, permanently closed, and the lock has been turned. All of the pain, the regret, the bitterness, and the sorrow are sealed behind that door, never to haunt you again. You are standing in the bright, clear light of a brand new day. The slate has been wiped entirely clean. There is nothing holding you back anymore. The spiritual transaction is complete. The enemy has lost his grip on your mind, because there is nothing left in your history for him to use against you. You are washed, you are sanctified, and you are perfectly positioned for the greatest outpouring of my favor that you have ever experienced in your entire life. Take a deep, beautiful breath of this fresh, unburdened air. Look down at your hands. For years, they have been clenched tight, holding on to the heavy, sharp stones of yesterday. But now, they are relaxed. They are empty. The weight is gone. With those old chains finally broken and left behind in the dust, your hands are now empty, completely open, and ready to receive the disguised miracles I have already placed on your path. Now that your hands are entirely empty, washed clean of the heavy, suffocating burdens of yesterday, and now that the chains of bitterness have been broken and left on the floor of your past, we must begin a new and beautiful work. We must train your eyes to see the reality of today. For so much of your life, you have been walking through a magnificent, meticulously curated garden, but you have been walking with a blindfold over your eyes. You have felt the warmth of the sun, you have occasionally smelled the fragrance of the flowers, but you have fundamentally misunderstood the landscape around you. You have judged the story of your life based only on what your limited human eyes could see in the immediate moment. You have looked at your history and tallied up a list of your losses, your rejections, and your failures. But today, I am going to gently remove that blindfold. I am going to give you spiritual sight. I want to take you by the hand and walk you back down the long, winding road of your decades, and I want to show you what was truly happening behind the scenes of your greatest disappointments. The human mind has a powerful, almost magnetic tendency to focus on the doors that were slammed in its face. You remember the sting of rejection vividly. You remember the confusion, the sudden change of plans, and the desperate prayers that seemed to bounce off a ceiling of brass. But I want to introduce you to the profound, overwhelming reality of my protection through rejection. I want to show you the magnificent, hidden architecture of my grace. Think back to that opportunity, that promotion, or that specific job you prayed so desperately to get. You prepared, you planned, you poured your heart into it, and you were absolutely certain it was the key to your future security. When the door slammed shut, when someone else was chosen, or when the company failed, you were devastated. You saw a devastating career failure. You saw a humiliating setback. You saw a terrifying loss of potential income that kept you awake for weeks, wondering how you would survive. You wept, and you asked me why I had abandoned you in your moment of ambition. But my precious child, I was not abandoning you. I was rescuing you. You saw a loss of income, but I saw the crushing, unnatural stress that position would have placed upon your shoulders. I saw the toxic, deeply compromised environment that would have slowly poisoned your spirit. I saw the countless evenings it would have stolen from your family, the stress that would have triggered a heart attack in your physical body, and the slow, insidious erosion of your faith. You saw a closed door, but I saw a trapdoor leading to your destruction. I stood in front of that door and I held it shut with my own hands, perfectly willing to let you be temporarily angry with me in order to save your life. Look back at the relationships that shattered, the people who walked away when you needed them most, or the partnerships that unexpectedly dissolved. You loved them, you trusted them, you anchored your hopes to them. When they left, or when circumstances forced you apart, the pain was a physical ache in your chest. You saw a broken heart. You saw a failed future. You saw the agonizing, deeply personal sting of rejection, and you wondered if you were somehow fundamentally unlovable or unworthy of loyalty. You saw abandonment, but I saw the absolute truth of who they were when no one else was watching. I saw the hidden flaws in their character, the deep-seated betrayals they were already plotting in their hearts, and the profound misery their hidden darkness would have eventually brought into the sanctuary of your home. I saw that they were an unequal yoke, destined to pull you off the narrow path I had ordained for your feet. You saw a loss, but I saw an absolute necessity. I orchestrated their exit. I removed them from the stage of your life because they were never meant to be a permanent cast member in the magnificent story of your destiny. I was fiercely defending your heart from a lifetime of sorrow. Consider the physical moves you wanted to make, the house you so desperately wanted to buy but couldn't secure the financing for, or the city you wanted to relocate to. You saw a shattered dream of a perfect earthly home. You saw your plans frustrated by red tape, bad timing, or unexpected financial hurdles. You felt trapped in a place you wanted to leave, but I saw the crumbling foundation hidden beneath the soil of that property. I saw the financial ruin that would have swallowed your retirement savings entirely. I saw the neighborhood that would have brought danger to your doorstep. I kept you right where you were, hidden safely in the shadow of my wings, until the precise moment when the true, perfect provision was ready. Let this rhythm of revelation sink deep into the marrow of your bones. Over and over again, throughout the long decades of your beautiful life, you saw rejection. But I saw redirection. You saw a humiliating defeat, but I saw a strategic retreat. You saw a dead end, but I saw a protective wall. Every single time you heard a resounding no from the heavens, it was because I was fiercely protecting a far more glorious, eternal yes. If you could see the alternate realities of what would have happened if I had given you everything you ever asked for, you would fall on your face right now and weep with uncontrollable gratitude for every single prayer I ever denied. I have been playing a masterful, infinite game of chess with the enemy of your soul, anticipating his traps thousands of moves in advance, and I have never once lost a piece that belonged to me. But my miraculous provision is not only found in the dramatic, retrospective rescues of your past. I want to draw your attention to the quiet, profound miracles that you walk past every single day without even noticing. The human heart is prone to a dangerous kind of spiritual amnesia. You become so accustomed to the steady, faithful rhythm of my grace that you mistake it for ordinary nature. You wait for the spectacular, the parting of the Red Sea, the fire falling from the sky, the sudden, unexplainable windfall of wealth. And when those specific events do not happen on a Tuesday morning, you assume that the miraculous is absent from your life. But I am telling you today that the very baseline of your existence is an ongoing, astonishing miracle. Consider the simple, profound act of waking up this morning. You opened your eyes. The light entered your room. Your lungs automatically expanded, pulling in the precise mixture of oxygen and nitrogen required to sustain the incredibly complex machinery of your physical body. Your heart, that tireless, magnificent pump hidden behind your ribs, continued to beat. It has beaten millions upon millions of times since the day you were formed in your mother's womb, never once asking for a day of rest, never once demanding payment, quietly sustaining your life through every joy, every sorrow, every waking moment, and every silent night of sleep. You did not have to consciously command your heart to beat today. You did not have to instruct your lungs to breathe. I did that. I am holding the very atomic structure of your body together by the word of my power. The fact that you have breath in your lungs right now is a deliberate, intentional declaration from heaven that your purpose on this earth is not yet finished. That is a miracle. Think about the quiet, invisible battles that were fought and won on your behalf just yesterday. Think about the drive you took to the grocery store. You were frustrated by the slow car in front of you, the extra red light that caught you, or the momentary delay when you couldn't find your keys before leaving the house. You saw an annoyance. But I saw the horrific, chaotic collision that happened at the intersection exactly 2 minutes before you arrived. I saw the drunk driver that you missed by a fraction of a second. I orchestrated that delay. I used that lost set of keys, that slow driver, and that frustrating red light to alter your timeline just enough to keep you completely safe. You have walked through minefields of physical and spiritual danger for decades, and you are completely unaware of the thousands of times my angels have physically intervened to push you out of harm's way. There is a profound miracle in the absence of tragedy. The world teaches you to only be grateful when a massive new blessing arrives. But I want you to cultivate a deep, radical gratitude for the disasters that did not strike your home today. The roof above your head did not collapse. The food on your table nourished you. The water that flowed from your tap was clean. The deep, quiet peace that you feel sitting in your favorite chair, watching the evening sun cast long shadows across the floor, is not an accident of circumstance. It is the active, intentional presence of my Holy Spirit wrapping around your home like a thick, impenetrable blanket. These are not mundane details, my child. This is the hidden manna. This is the daily bread that I promise to provide. I am asking you to open your eyes to the overwhelming abundance of my quiet faithfulness. As we continue to adjust your spiritual vision, we must also address the most difficult aspect of your journey, the painful, inevitable losses that come with the passing of time. As you have grown older, you have watched the landscape of your life shift dramatically. You have had to say goodbye to dear friends and family members who have crossed over into eternity before you. You have felt the slow, steady decline of your own physical stamina. You can no longer run as fast, work as hard, or carry as much as you did in the prime of your youth. Seasons of great influence and bustling activity have slowly transitioned into seasons of quietness and solitude. The natural human reaction to these changes is a deep, lingering grief. You feel as though you are constantly losing ground, as though the beautiful tapestry of your life is slowly unraveling at the edges. But I want to reframe this entirely for you. I want you to understand the profound, beautiful, and necessary difference between being cut down by an enemy and being pruned by a master gardener. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vinedresser. When an enemy comes into a vineyard, he brings an axe. He hacks wildly at the base of the trunk, seeking to destroy the vine, uproot it, and leave the vineyard barren and dead. But when the master vinedresser walks into the vineyard, he does not carry an axe. He carries a pair of small, incredibly sharp, and precise pruning shears. And here is the secret of the garden that most people never understand. The gardener does not spend his time pruning the dead, useless vines. He focuses his most intense, painful, and drastic cuts on the branches that are already producing the most beautiful fruit. Why would he cut away healthy branches? Why would he strip away leaves and seemingly reduce the size of the most productive vine? Because the gardener knows that if the vine is left to grow wild, it will produce a massive amount of foliage, leaves that look beautiful but serve no lasting purpose, and the vital, life-giving sap will be spread too thin. The fruit will be small, bitter, and weak. So, the gardener steps in. He makes painful, calculated cuts. He removes the excess. He strips away the beautiful but unnecessary foliage. He forces the vine to endure a season of absolute barrenness and severe reduction. To the untrained eye, the vine looks ruined. It looks naked, bleeding, and entirely diminished. But the gardener knows what he is doing. By cutting away the excess, he forces all of the deep, rich sap from the roots to completely redirect. The energy is no longer wasted on maintaining appearances. It is forced into the core of the vine. And when the spring returns, that heavily pruned, seemingly diminished vine will produce clusters of grapes that are massively larger, infinitely sweeter, and vastly more abundant than anything it could have ever produced before the shears were applied. My beloved child, the losses you are experiencing in this season of your life are not the swings of the enemy's axe. They are the precise, loving, and intentional cuts of the master's shears. You are not being destroyed, you are being divinely pruned. You saw the loss of an acquaintance or a sudden change in your social circle, and you felt isolated. But I saw the removal of a distraction. I was cutting away the superficial connections so that you would be forced to seek a deeper, more profound intimacy with me. You saw a decrease in your physical energy, and you felt frustrated by your limitations. But I saw the magnificent narrowing of your focus. I am removing your ability to run 1,000 different directions so that you will finally sit still and focus your remaining strength on the one or two things that truly have eternal significance. The fading of your youth is not a punishment. The shifting of your seasons is not a sign of my abandonment. I am intentionally stripping away the temporary, fleeting foliage of this earthly life so that the eternal, unbreakable core of your spirit can fully mature. The fruit of the Spirit, the deep, unshakable love, the radiant joy, the profound peace, the rugged patience, the gentle kindness, the unwavering goodness, the absolute faithfulness, the quiet gentleness, and the ironclad self-control. These things do not grow in the busy, chaotic, untested days of youth. They grow thickest, sweetest, and most magnificently on the branches of a life that has been heavily pruned by the sorrows and the long waits of time. Do not despise the shears. Do not weep over the leaves that have fallen to the ground. The pruning is the absolute, undeniable proof that I consider you a vessel of immense value, capable of bearing a harvest that will bless generations to come. Understanding this deeply profound reality must fundamentally change the way you speak, the way you think, and the way you walk through the remainder of your days. It is time to cultivate a spirit of radical, aggressive gratitude. This is not the fragile, polite thankfulness that the world practices when things happen to go their way. Radical gratitude is a fierce, spiritual weapon. It is a deliberate, conscious choice to view every single circumstance of your life through the lens of my absolute sovereignty and my flawless love for you. When you choose gratitude, something miraculous happens in the unseen realm. You literally change the spiritual atmosphere of your home, your mind, and your body. The enemy of your soul thrives in an environment of complaint, bitterness, and self-pity. When you focus on what you have lost, when you complain about the aches in your body, when you constantly vocalize your fears about the future, you are broadcasting on the enemy's frequency. You are inviting his dark, heavy presence into your space. But the enemy cannot breathe in an atmosphere of genuine, radical praise. It is toxic to him. When you stand up in the middle of a storm, when you look at a bank account that is lower than you would like, when you feel the physical pain in your joints, and you lift your hands and say, "Lord, I thank you that you are still on the throne. I thank you that you protected me from things I couldn't see. I thank you that I have breath in my lungs. I thank you that I am divinely pruned for a greater purpose." You instantly shatter the darkness. You tune your spirit perfectly to the frequency of heaven, and you invite the overwhelming, comforting, and empowering presence of my Holy Spirit to flood your life. I want you to practice this radical gratitude every single day. I want you to wake up in the morning, before your feet even touch the floor, and thank me for the miracle of a new sunrise. I want you to walk through the rooms of your home and speak out loud, blessing the walls that shelter you, the bed that rests you, and the food in your cupboards, no matter how simple it may be. I want you to look back at the people who rejected you, the jobs you lost, and the doors that were slammed in your face, and I want you to say out loud, "Thank you, Lord, for closing the doors that would have destroyed me." Reframe the entire narrative of your existence. Stop telling the story of a victim who has endured a difficult life and start testifying to the magnificent story of a highly favored, fiercely protected child of God who has been rescued, redeemed, and perfectly prepared for a masterpiece of a finish. The scales have fallen from your eyes. The blindfold is completely gone. You can now look back at the vast landscape of your past and see the golden thread of my providence woven through every single moment of your existence. You can see the traps you missed, the storms I shielded you from, and the miraculous, steady provision that has kept you breathing all these years. You are not lucky. You are not surviving by chance. You are the apple of my eye. You are the object of my intense, unyielding affection. You are guarded by legions of angels, sustained by the Creator of the universe, and loved with an everlasting, unbreakable love. Now that your eyes are open to how fiercely I have always defended you, it is time for you to stop retreating and start stepping into the divine authority I have destined for your life. The time has come for a profound shift in your spirit. We have journeyed through the deep valleys of your hidden sorrows. We have washed away the bitter remnants of your past, and we have opened your eyes to the magnificent, protective hand that has been guiding you all along. You have seen the truth of my unwavering love, and you have realized that every closed door was a shield, and every delay was a divine preparation. But knowing this truth in your mind is only the beginning of the transformation. Now, it is time for that truth to travel down into the very marrow of your bones, into the core of your identity, and permanently alter the way you walk through this world. It is time for you to rise from the posture of defeat and step fully into the radiant, unshakable divine authority that I have destined for your life since before the foundations of the earth were laid. I want you to take a moment and examine the invisible posture of your soul. For far too many years, you have allowed the heavy, relentless burdens of this broken world to push your shoulders down. You have walked through the corridors of your life with your spiritual head bowed low, constantly bracing yourself for the next piece of bad news, the next financial struggle, or the next family crisis. You have adopted the stance of a weary, defeated traveler who is merely trying to survive the journey and make it to the end without being entirely destroyed. The enemy has loved seeing you in this posture. He is delighted in watching you shrink back, watching you apologize for your very existence, and watching you accept the lies that you are too old, too tired, too broken, and too insignificant to make a difference in the grand scheme of eternity. He has tried to convince you that because you are in the autumn of your life, your season of power and influence has long since passed, leaving you as nothing more than a spectator to the events of the world. My precious, deeply loved child, I am speaking to you now with the absolute, thundering authority of heaven. I did not create you to crawl through the dust of defeat. I did not breathe my eternal, miraculous spirit into your lungs so that you could cower in the shadows of fear. I created you to soar. I created you to stand tall, with your shoulders back and your head held high, completely confident in the magnificent identity I have bestowed upon you. You are not a spiritual beggar hoping for a few crumbs of peace to fall from the Master's table. You are an adopted, fully recognized, and deeply cherished heir to the kingdom of the Most High God. Royal blood flows through your spiritual veins. The Creator of the universe is your Father, and He has placed a crown of righteousness upon your head. It is time to take off the heavy, ash-covered garments of mourning and put on the brilliant, shining robes of your divine authority. I want you to feel the physical and spiritual sensation of straightening your spine right now. Lift your eyes away from the dirt, away from the problems, and away from the anxieties that have kept you looking downward. Look up. Look at the vast, limitless horizon of my promises. Imagine a majestic eagle that has been kept inside a tiny, cramped cage for years, its wings folded tight, its spirit dulled by confinement. It has forgotten what it means to catch the wind. That cage is the illusion of your own powerlessness. But today, the door to that cage has been flung wide open. I am calling you to step out onto the edge of the cliff, to spread those massive, powerful wings of faith, and to let the warm, lifting currents of my Holy Spirit carry you high above the chaotic storms of this earthly life. You were made for the high altitudes of trust, where the air is clear, the vision is perfect, and the noise of the world fades into a quiet whisper. As you assume this new, victorious posture, you must begin to exercise the most powerful tool of authority I have given you, the power of your spoken faith. For entirely too long, you have allowed your mouth to echo the despair of the world. You have agreed with the darkness by speaking words of defeat over your own life. You have looked at your circumstances and said, "I will never get out of this debt," or "My body is just falling apart," or "My children are entirely lost to the culture," or "It is simply too late for me to find joy." When you speak these words, you are not just describing your reality, you are actively creating your reality. You are participating in your own defeat. Remember the very beginning of all things. When the earth was formless and void, and absolute darkness covered the face of the deep, I did not sit in the heavens and worry about the darkness. I did not complain about the void. I opened my mouth, and I spoke. I said, "Let there be light," and the entire structure of the universe instantly obeyed the command of my voice. The darkness was violently scattered, and the magnificent brilliance of creation burst forth. Because you are created in my image, and because my Holy Spirit dwells within you, your words carry a measure of that same creative, atmosphere-shifting power. The tongue holds the incredible power of life and death, and it is time for you to start speaking life with radical, unwavering intentionality. I want you to become the prophet of your own life and the absolute guardian of your own home. When the atmosphere in your house feels heavy with anxiety, do not just sit silently and let the gloom settle over you. Open your mouth and speak into the room. Declare out loud, "The peace of the Almighty God dwells in this house. No weapon formed against my family will ever prosper. This home is a sanctuary of light, and the shadows of fear are commanded to leave right now in the name of the Lord." When you wake up in the morning and feel the familiar aches in your body, do not immediately confess decline. Speak to your physical frame and say, "My youth is being renewed like the eagles. I am filled with the sustaining, miraculous breath of God, and I have exactly the strength I need for the divine assignments of this day." When you think of your wandering children or grandchildren, do not speak words of hopelessness. Speak over their future. Declare, "My lineage is blessed. The seeds of faith I have planted in them are guarded by angels, and they will be drawn irresistibly back to the light." You may feel foolish at first, speaking to the empty air. Your voice might tremble slightly with age or hesitation. But I assure you, in the unseen spiritual realm, your spoken faith does not sound weak. When you speak my promises out loud, your voice echoes through the heavens like the roaring of a mighty lion and the rushing of massive waterfalls. It is the sound of the dawn breaking over the horizon. Have you ever watched the sunrise push back the night? The sun does not fight the darkness with swords or violence. It simply shines, and the darkness is instantly, effortlessly obliterated because it has no power to resist the light. Your spoken faith is that radiant morning sun. When you declare my truth, you are casting brilliant beams of light into the dark corners of your circumstances, and the shadows of anxiety, depression, and fear are forced to flee. They cannot exist in the same space as your bold spoken trust. This brings us to the beautiful, magnificent reality of how you are to engage in spiritual warfare. The phrase itself often conjures up images of exhausting battles, violent struggles, and a desperate, frantic fight for survival. But in this season of your life, standing in your divine authority, warfare looks entirely different. It is not a frantic struggle, it is a supreme, victorious rest. Your battle is not fought by striving, but by standing immovable in the finished work of my grace. Imagine a massive, ancient mountain made of solid granite, its peak reaching high into the clouds, its roots plunging deep into the core of the earth. Throughout the year, this mountain is assaulted by fierce winds, battered by violent thunderstorms, and covered by thick, dark clouds. The clouds cast terrifying shadows over the face of the rock. If you were standing in the valley looking up, the shadows might look intimidating. They might look like massive creeping monsters trying to swallow the mountain whole. But what do the clouds and the shadows actually do to the mountain? Absolutely nothing. A shadow has no mass. It has no weight. It has no substance. It can change the appearance of the mountain for a brief moment, but it cannot move a single pebble. The storm can rage, the thunder can shake the air, but the granite remains utterly unshakable, perfectly secure, and entirely unmoved. You, my beautiful child, are that granite mountain. The spiritual opposition you face, the sudden surges of doubt, the whispers of fear, the negative news of the world, the sudden health scares. These are nothing more than passing clouds casting shadows. The enemy wants you to believe that the shadows have substance. He wants you to panic, to abandon your post, and to run down into the valley in terror. He wants to convince you that the wind can uproot your salvation and that the storm can wash away your future. But you must recognize the absolute emptiness of his threats. When the shadows of doubt creep over your mind, you do not need to panic. You do not need to fight the shadow. You simply need to stand firm. You remind yourself of what you are made of. You are built upon the unshakable, eternal bedrock of my covenant. You are anchored in the blood of the Lamb and the word of your testimony. When the enemy whispers that you are going to run out of money, you stand firm and say, "I am the mountain." The shadow of poverty cannot move the reality of Jehovah Jireh, my provider. When the enemy whispers that the world is spiraling into permanent chaos and darkness, you stand firm and say, "I am the mountain." The shadows of cultural decline cannot move the reality of the King who sits forever on the throne. You do not negotiate with the darkness. You do not analyze the wind. You elevate your perspective above the turbulent weather of the valley, and you rest securely in the high altitude of my absolute sovereignty. This is true spiritual authority. It is the quiet, unbreakable confidence that says, "I know exactly who I am. I know exactly whose I am, and nothing in this temporary world has the power to pull me from his hand." As you learn to stand in this unshakable peace, a magnificent transformation occurs. Your authority is no longer just for your own survival. It becomes a profound instrument of rescue for those you love. I want to speak directly to the deep ache in your heart regarding your family. I know that you look at the generations coming up behind you, your children, your nieces, your nephews, your grandchildren, and your heart breaks for the world they are having to navigate. You see them tossed violently by the waves of a culture that has lost its moral compass. You see them drowning in anxiety, searching for identity in all the wrong places, and building their lives on shifting sand. You feel a desperate desire to reach out and pull them to safety, but often, when you try to speak, your words are rejected. You feel as though there is a vast, unbridgeable chasm between your generation and theirs. And the enemy whispers that your influence is entirely gone, that you are obsolete, and that your prayers for them are useless. I want to shatter that lie into a million pieces right now. You are entering the most vital, the most powerful, and the most absolutely necessary season of your calling. You are no longer called to be the captain of their ship, navigating every turn for them. You are now called to be the lighthouse on the edge of the cliff. Consider the purpose of a lighthouse. It is not built in a safe, calm, shallow harbor where the water is always smooth. A lighthouse is constructed on the most dangerous, jagged, and violent edge of the coastline. It is built to withstand the most brutal hurricanes the ocean can produce, and the lighthouse does not run out into the water to rescue the ships. It does not chase the boats through the storm. What does the lighthouse do? It stands absolutely firm on the rock, and it shines its piercing, brilliant beam of light into the darkest, most terrifying night. Your children and grandchildren are out on that dark, treacherous cultural sea. They are being battered by the wind, they are confused by the fog, and many of them are terrified. They do not need you to jump into the chaotic water and panic with them. They do not need you to echo the anxiety of the world. They desperately need you to be the lighthouse. They need to look toward the shore of your life and see a structure that is entirely unmoved by the storm. They need to see your unshakable peace. They need to hear the quiet, steady rhythm of your radical gratitude. They need to witness your absolute refusal to bow to the spirit of fear. When your family comes to visit you or when they speak to you on the phone, they should feel as though they have stepped out of a howling blizzard and into a warm, brightly lit sanctuary. Your gentle authority, your refusal to judge them harshly, and your deep, abiding love must become the beam of light that cuts through the fog of their confusion. When the world tells them they are worthless, your light reminds them they are cherished. When the culture tells them that truth does not exist, your unshakable stance on the Word of God provides them with a true north. They may act as though they do not care. They may pretend that your faith is old-fashioned. But in the secret, quiet moments of their darkest nights, when their own strength entirely fails them, they will look for the light on the cliff. If you are standing firm, shining with the brilliant warmth of my Holy Spirit, they will use your light to navigate their way back to safety, back to truth, and ultimately, back to me. Your prayers are not empty words bouncing off the ceiling. The prayers you pray for your family in the quiet hours of the morning are eternal, indestructible time capsules of grace. You are planting massive, powerful seeds in the soil of their future. You are sending angelic reinforcements into their daily battles. Do not ever underestimate the generational impact of one older believer who decides to stand their ground and pray with absolute, unapologetic authority. You are the spiritual matriarch, the spiritual patriarch of your lineage. You hold the line. You keep the fire burning on the altar. Your faithfulness today is the exact bridge that your great-grandchildren will use to cross over into their own salvation decades from now. Feel the immense, breathtaking weight of this purpose settling onto your shoulders. It is not a burden. It is a mantle of glorious honor. You are not fading into the background of this world. You are stepping up to the front lines of the spirit realm. You are a warrior of light, draped in the armor of perfect peace, wielding the unstoppable weapon of radical gratitude, and shining with the fierce, protective love of a heavenly parent. You have absolutely nothing left to fear. The past is completely washed clean. The present is safely secured in my hands. The future is a magnificent, guaranteed victory. Every tear you have ever cried has been collected. Every prayer you have ever whispered has been recorded. Every moment you chose to trust me when you were entirely surrounded by darkness has been written in the eternal chronicles of heaven. You are deeply respected by the angels, fiercely loved by your Creator, and profoundly necessary for the salvation of your family. You are a masterpiece of grace, a living, breathing testament to the sustaining, miraculous power of the living God. Lift your head, my beautiful champion. Breathe in the crisp, clean air of this new dawn. Look at the horizon, where the long, dark night is finally breaking and the first brilliant rays of the morning sun are beginning to spill across the sky, painting the clouds with gold and chasing away the last lingering shadows. The air is still, the storm has passed, and the ground beneath your feet is solid rock. You have fought the good fight. You have kept the faith through the darkest valleys. And now, my precious child, we have finally reached the dawn of your promised harvest. Stand with me now in the magnificent golden light of this new morning. We have reached the summit of the mountain. You have walked through the deep, shadowy valleys of uncertainty. You have bravely faced the howling winds of the fiercest storms. You have waited with quiet endurance through the long, barren winter of the soul. And you have allowed my gentle hands to heal the hidden wounds of your past. You have learned the profound, liberating secret of releasing your desperate grip on the illusion of control, and you have stepped boldly into the radiant, unshakable authority that I have destined for your life. And now, my precious, deeply loved child, you are standing on the sacred threshold of the ultimate payoff. The heavy, suffocating burdens that you carried at the very beginning of this journey, those crushing weights that kept you awake in the middle of the night, have been completely lifted from your shoulders. The quiet, desperate prayers you whispered when you thought no one was listening have all been gathered, answered, and transformed into this breathtaking moment of divine fulfillment. The air around you has fundamentally changed. Do you feel it? It is no longer the biting, bitter wind of the tempest. It is the warm, fragrant, and profoundly gentle breeze of your eternal spring. The turning of the season is no longer just a promise on the horizon. It is the absolute, undeniable reality of your present moment. The long, silent, and sometimes agonizing winter of your waiting has finally, miraculously surrendered to the magnificent, explosive warmth of my grace. For so long, you looked out at the landscape of your life and saw only the frozen ground. You saw the bare branches, you felt the chill of unanswered prayers, and you wondered if the ice would ever truly melt. You wondered if the seeds of faith you planted in the dark soil of your sorrow would ever see the light of day. But I tell you now, look at the ground beneath your feet. The ice is completely gone. The earth has warmed, and the deep, rich soil of your quiet endurance has given birth to a harvest so vast, so vibrantly beautiful, and so overwhelmingly abundant that your human eyes can scarcely take it all in. This is the season of your absolute vindication. The enemy tried to convince you that your best days were buried in the past, that your season of fruitfulness was over, and that you were destined to fade quietly into the background of a chaotic world. But the enemy is a liar. I am the God who saves the absolute best for last. I am the God who turned the water into the finest wine at the very end of the feast. I am the God who restores the years that the shadows and the drought have consumed. And I declare over you today that the glory of your latter house will be infinitely greater than the glory of your former house. You are not fading away. You are blooming with a brilliance and a majesty that you have never known before. The patience that was forged in the fire of your waiting room has blossomed into an unbreakable, radiant peace. The tears that you shed in the lonely, quiet hours of your pain have watered the soil of your soul, producing a crop of joy that no circumstance in this world can ever uproot. I want you to envision the cup of your life. For many years, you have approached me with a cup that felt empty, drained by the constant demands, the worries, and the exhausting efforts to keep your small boat afloat in the vast ocean of your struggles. You came to me thirsting for just a single drop of relief, just a small measure of peace to help you survive another day. But survival is no longer the theme of your story. I am not a God of bare minimums. I am the God of the overflowing, abundant, and inexhaustible supply. I am taking the cup of your life right now, and I am holding it under the rushing, majestic waterfall of my divine favor. I am pouring out a blessing so massive, so continuous, and so overwhelmingly rich that there is simply not enough room in your cup to contain it all. Your cup is running over. It is overflowing with a profound, unshakable peace that settles into your mind and your heart, silencing every lingering whisper of anxiety. It is overflowing with a deep, radiant joy that causes you to smile at the future, entirely unafraid of what tomorrow might bring, because you know that I am already there. It is overflowing with supernatural provision, ensuring that you have absolutely everything you need, precisely when you need it, with plenty left over to be a blessing to those around you. It is overflowing with a renewed, vibrant health in your spirit, a lightness in your step, and a quiet, enduring strength that defies the natural passing of the years. You are drinking from the river of my delights, and the thirst of your weary soul is being quenched forever. In the beginning, you were like a solitary sailor in a tiny, fragile wooden boat, frantically bailing out water, terrified that the next wave would pull you under. But look at where you are now. You are no longer on that tiny, storm-tossed boat. You have arrived safely in the harbor of my absolute protection. You have stepped off the fragile vessel of your own self-reliance, and you are standing on the solid, immovable granite of my eternal promises. The chaotic waves can crash against the breakwater far out in the distance, but the waters in your harbor are as smooth as glass, reflecting the brilliant, unclouded sky of my love for you. You have traded your frantic efforts for my finished work. You have traded your exhaustion for my supreme rest. You have traded the illusion of your control for the absolute magnificent reality of my sovereignty. But this overwhelming harvest, this overflowing cup, and this safe harbor are not just for you alone. The blessings I am pouring out upon your life in this season are designed to overflow the boundaries of your own existence and flood the lives of everyone you love. We must speak of the profound, miraculous generational impact of your steadfast faithfulness. You have spent decades planting seeds of prayer, speaking words of truth, and modeling a quiet, rugged trust in me, even when it seemed as though your family was not paying attention. You have watched your children and your grandchildren navigate the dangerous, confusing currents of this modern world, and your heart has often ached with a desire to protect them and guide them. You stood on the cliff as the unshakable lighthouse, shining your beam of unconditional love and unwavering faith into their darkness. Now, in this season of harvest, you are going to witness the magnificent return of those ships. The prayers you prayed in the secret place, the tears you shed over the wandering hearts of your loved ones, they were never lost. They were gathered in the storehouses of heaven, and they are now being poured out as a gentle, irresistible rain of grace over your entire family line. Because you chose to stand firm, because you refused to bow to the spirit of fear, and because you allowed my grace to break the heavy chains of bitterness and resentment in your own heart, you have fundamentally altered the spiritual trajectory of your descendants. You have broken old destructive cycles of anxiety and pain, and you have established a brand new, glorious legacy of faith, peace, and absolute trust in the Lord. You are the deep, massive root system of a magnificent family tree. Because your roots are planted firmly by the living waters of my Spirit, the branches of your family will stretch high into the heavens, and the leaves will provide shade and healing for generations to come. Your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren will walk in a measure of favor and protection that they will not even fully understand, all because you held the line. They will inherit the spiritual wealth that you accumulated during your long, quiet seasons of waiting. Your testimony, the golden scars of your healed wounds, the undeniable proof of my provision, and the radiant peace you carry will become the anchor for their own faith when they eventually face the storms of their own lives. You are leaving behind an inheritance that is infinitely more valuable than silver or gold. You are leaving behind a legacy of an unshakable God who honors the quiet, enduring trust of his faithful servants. As you look around at this magnificent harvest, as you see the restoration of your peace, the overflowing of your provision, and the generational impact of your prayers, I want to draw your attention back to the most precious, the most vital, and the most beautiful promise of all. It is not the gifts that make the harvest so glorious, it is the presence of the giver. My ultimate, eternal promise to you is not just that I will provide for you or that I will protect you, but that I will walk closely, intimately, and unconditionally beside you for every single remaining step of your journey. You have walked with me for a long time. We have shared countless quiet mornings together, watching the sun rise and speaking of the deep things of the heart. We have sat together in the still, lonely hours of the night, when the rest of the world was asleep, and you needed the comfort of my voice. You know the gentle, familiar rhythm of my grace. And I want to assure you, with the absolute unbreakable authority of heaven, that as the years continue to pass, and as the silver in your hair continues to shine as a crown of righteous glory, my presence in your life will only grow sweeter, closer, and more profoundly real. The world may look at you and see the natural, inevitable aging of a physical body. They may see a slowing of your physical steps. But I look at you, and I see a spirit that is soaring higher, shining brighter, and running faster than ever before. Your physical tent may be weathering with the passage of time, but your inner spirit is being renewed, strengthened, and beautifully refined every single day. You are not declining, you are ascending. You are moving closer and closer to the magnificent, blinding light of my eternal presence. And as you walk this path, you will never, not for a fraction of a single second, walk it alone. I am the God who created you, I am the God who redeemed you, and I am the God who will sustain you all the days of your life. Even to your old age and gray hairs, I am He who will carry you. I have made you, and I will bear you, I will carry you, and I will be your profound, absolute deliverance. When your physical strength feels small, my supernatural strength will become your perfect foundation. When your memory falters, my spirit will remind you of everything that is truly important. When you feel the quiet ache of missing those who have already crossed over into eternity, I will surround you with the comforting, majestic presence of my angels, reminding you that the separation is only temporary, and the eternal reunion is rapidly approaching. There is absolutely nothing in this world or in the world to come that can ever separate you from the fierce, overwhelming, and unconditional love that I have for you. No height, no depth, no passing cloud of doubt, no economic shift, no physical ailment, and no cultural storm can ever sever the unbreakable bond of our covenant. You are engraved upon the very palms of my hands. Your name is spoken with deep, profound reverence in the courts of heaven. You are my masterpiece, my beloved child, and the absolute joy of my heart. The journey we have taken together through these words has brought you full circle. At the very beginning, I asked you to stop for just a moment, to let go of the heavy burdens, and to discover the true power of trusting me completely. I saw the tears you hid when you were alone and the uncertainties that made your chest feel tight. You were trying to control everything, trying to fix what was broken with your own tired strength. But you listened to my voice. You laid down the heavy, rusted armor of self-reliance. You stepped out of the violent storm and into the quiet sanctuary of my peace. You allowed the deep, unseen roots of your faith to grow in the dark soil of the waiting room. You bravely handed me the broken pieces of your past, allowing me to wash away the bitterness and turn your deepest wounds into golden, beautiful testimonies of grace. You opened your eyes to the constant, quiet miracles of my protection, realizing that every closed door was a fierce defense of your heart, and you stood up, throwing off the posture of defeat to reclaim your divine, unshakable authority as a radiant lighthouse for your family and your generation. Because you have done these things, because you have chosen the path of unwavering trust, the harvest is now entirely yours to enjoy. The struggle is officially over. The striving has ceased. The desperate bailing of water in the tiny boat is a memory of the distant past. You are safe. You are provided for. You are deeply, profoundly, and eternally cherished. Let the warm, golden light of this truth wash over your mind, your body, and your spirit. Let every muscle in your back relax. Let the gentle, rhythmic beating of your heart synchronize with the perfect, peaceful rhythm of my grace. There is nothing left for you to figure out today. There are no more heavy burdens for you to carry. The architect of the universe has already mapped out a flawless, beautiful plan for your tomorrow, and the creator of time itself is already standing in your future, preparing the way. Rest now in my embrace, knowing that the battle is already won, your future is entirely secure, and you are unconditionally, endlessly loved, today and for all eternity.